Hi guys! So I tried to figure out what I could do to contribute to the boredom part, and of course my hobby is reptiles. So I decided every now and then I'd make a different video about a reptile that our family owns. One of them is chameleons. We have two chameleons. They're both veiled chameleons. This is my female, Shelly. Veiled chameleons are oh, that's not a bug. Veiled chameleons are one of 180 different species of chameleons. They are the most popular one to be owned. Chameleons are a bit more difficult to have as pets. They stress out pretty easily. They have a lot of different care requirements, so it's not something I recommend as a beginner pet, but they are absolutely beautiful and very rewarding. They, in the wild, come from Yemen or Saudi Arabia. They live in like plateaus, mountains, valleys, anywhere, but they are arboreal, so that means that they live up in trees or up in really big plants. They are mainly insectivores, but veileds are one of the few that you will find in the wild eating some vegetation. Some people think that they do that to get their water intake, or maybe they just like it, not sure. These lay eggs. There are some chameleons which give live birth, like the Jackson chameleon. They give birth to live babies, but this one here will lay eggs. In their clutch, there's usually around 85 eggs, and it takes 6 to 9 months for them to hatch, depending on temperatures. They're kind of like chickens, so they don't need a mate to lay eggs. She just needs a nice big dirt pit to dig and lay her eggs in, and if she hasn't had a mate, then the eggs won't hatch. Another big myth, not a myth, but for a long time people believed that chameleons changed color for camouflage. We now know that that's not the case. They change color if they're about to mate. They change color if they're going to lay eggs. They change color based on their stress levels and how, their environment is affecting them. If they're too cold, they'll change colors. They'll turn dark if they're trying to absorb the heat. So different reasons like that based on their environment, but it has nothing to do with camouflage at all. She's normally a very light green color. See all the black stripes on her and all the little dots? Those normally aren't there. Those are there right now because she's making sure that I know that she's a little bit stressed out and she's not very happy right now. One thing that people often enjoy seeing is how chameleon eats, so I thought I would show you that. She's generally a very good eater, even when she's stressed. So these here are horned worms. Or sorry, super worms, not horned worms, my mistake. And I'll just let her see them. Ah, yummy, yummy. And just like that, their accuracy is amazing. So I'll let her finish that big guy. She also eats crickets, and for treats, she will have horned worms or silkworms, things like that. And there's a mealworm on the ground, and I'll show you one more time, and then I'll try to get my mail out so I can show you the size difference and pattern difference. There you go, little buddy. No? Oh, she'll get it. Or will she? Oh. There we go. And hopefully she can get back up on her platform. Here, little girl. They don't generally like to be handled. It's not a pet that you want to get if you want a pet that you're going to be holding a lot. Their ribs are very, very, very delicate, and they can break rather easily, so it's important when you do handle your chameleon not to ever grab them like that and to let them come onto your hands. So females are generally smaller than males, and they have less of a pattern than males. I'm gonna go and attempt to get out my male. I will give fair warning that he's not quite as sociable as her, so he'll probably be a dark color by the time I get him out. He's bright and beautiful now because he can see her. She's usually in a different room, so he's close and he's like, oh, there's a lady. So 1 second. Easier said than done. Alrighty, so this is my male. He is definitely not as happy. You can see he's darker in color, but he generally does have more of a pattern than the female does anyway. And you'll also see that his casque here, the top part of him, which is why he's called a veiled chameleon, is bigger than the females. You can't really see the size comparison, but he is a lot longer than my girl is, but the girl does weigh a bit more. Right now his goal is to get as high as he possibly can and away from me. There. So these are one of our many pets. Can't wait to see you next time. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, feel free to write them. If you have anything you'd like to add about them in particular or their care, I would love to hear. Thanks so much, guys.
Mommy, the boy's name.
Oh, the boy's name is Emilio. Thank you. Shelly and Emilio. Bye.